Hello and welcome to a new oXygen XML Editor webinar. My name is George Bina and I will be your host today. I invited my colleague Alex to present the first webinar in a series of DITA webinars. And today we will cover the getting started with DITA and oXygen XML Editor. If you go on the oXygen XML website, under company events, you can find the events that we have scheduled. Right now, you just see that the getting started with the DITA using oXygen XML Editor went to the past events, although it's ongoing. So if you click on this webinar, you can also find the other related webinars. So we'll cover after this DITA reuse and filtering, and after that DITA publishing with the oXygen XML Editor. And in between these, there will be also some other webinars focused on somehow related technologies, like how you can enforce editing rules to provide guided authoring, or how you can implement schematron quick fixes, for example. So if you want to join us for the next webinars, just go to this events page, and you can find all the other webinars that we have scheduled. Today's webinar will be recorded, and we will provide a recording a few days after the webinar, probably early next week. And you will find that also on this page, on this event page. So the event page will contain the recording. Before we start, we would like to find also some information about you. So I will launch this, and I would like to ask you to respond to this. What option from this matches your case? Are you new to DITA and oXygen? You already know oXygen, but you are using oXygen with other XML frameworks, and now you are considering using DITA. You already use DITA, but you do not know oXygen, so you want to see how oXygen supports DITA. You already use both DITA and oXygen, and maybe none of the above. And in that case, maybe you can let us know using the chat box. What is your situation? That will be really interesting to know. Okay, so I will leave this just for a few more seconds. Before closing it, I want to let you know that you can use the questions panel in the GoToWebinar interface to ask questions at any time during the webinar. I have with me also my colleague Radu Pisoi, so he and me will be able to respond to your questions, and at the end we will get also through the questions and ask Alex to respond publicly so everyone can see that. So let's share the results. So most of our attendees are both new to DITA and oXygen, and this is the scope of this webinar, to provide an introduction to both oXygen and DITA. And then we have also a good number of people that are already using DITA and oXygen, and probably you want to discover some new things in oXygen, and maybe some of the new additions in version 18. This being said, I will make Alex presenter so he can start webinar. Alex?
Hello everybody, welcome and thank you all for attending this presentation. My name is Alex Gitianu. I'm a member of the oXygen team for more than 10 years now, and during this time I've been closely involved in the development of authoring support in oXygen. Let's begin our DITA journey, a journey that will span over multiple webinars. First, a little preview about the things that we're going to talk about in this presentation. The topics are the building blocks of DITA, the basic authoring unit. And because of that, we will begin by creating and editing some topics. The next DITA concept that we will touch will be the map, which organizes these topics. Afterwards, we will talk a bit about what it means to keep a valid and complete map, about the challenges that arises while working with DITA. And of course, this presentation wouldn't be complete without the actual publishing. In this presentation, we will work on a user manual for a mobile phone, and we will continue developing this user manual across each one of our webinars. The first topic that we will create, it's one about making a call on the phone, and because it is a procedure, we will choose the DITA task type. Let's go to oXygen. To create a new topic in oXygen, we will use the new action on the toolbar. What you see now are all the available templates in oXygen, and there are quite a few of them, but you can use this search field on top, and we want a task. So this search field will help you identify the template that you need. And it's also worth mentioning that you can put your own templates here in the new dialog. Replace the built-in ones completely. Let's create our new task. And this is a new DITA task in oXygen's author mode. Now, while working in the author mode, the first thing you should know is always know where you are. And you can find that out either from the breadcrumb on top of the editor. You see here we are in the title element inside a task element, or from the outline. And as you navigate the document, you will notice some location tooltips that are being presented, and they too can give you an idea of the context you are in. If you still want more feedback about the structure, you can change the display mode for tags. You can do that from this pop-up on the toolbar. So if we select full tags, we will see a tag where the element begins and another one where the element ends. So you got a lot more feedback about the structure beneath the document. But personally, I prefer working without seeing so many tags, so I'll switch back to this editing mode. Now, if you want to insert text, all you have to do is type. So it's a task about how to make a call. We press Tab to navigate to the short description, and let's say something here too. if you want to insert structure, all you have to do is press enter, and the content completion window will appear and will present you all the possible elements. You can search for an element and press enter again to insert it. As you can see from the toolbar, a created element was inserted. What you see here now is a form control. And a form control is a specialized way of editing either element values or attribute values. This one, for example, it edits an attribute. If we go here to the attributes panel, you see that my date was set on the date attribute of the created element. So that's how you edit attributes in the author mode. Either you bind them to form controls, or you can use the attributes panel. Let's put a prerequisite element to, again we will invoke content completion, search for it, and insert it. To make a call, you will need, and there are two things needed to make a call. So let's use a list, an ordered list. Of course, I could use the content completion window to insert it, but let's use instead this action on the toolbar. And that's the second way you can insert the structure in the author mode, by using the actions on the toolbar. So the first thing you need is a charged battery, and the second, we will insert another list item, again using an action on the toolbar, is a valid SIM card. Of course, our task wouldn't be complete without writing the actual steps one must take to make a call, so let's write them too. So you have to be in the home screen, and the first thing you should do is dial the number. Oh, you see that was the autocomplete support in oXygen that corrected my spelling error. So dial the number, and the second step, and we'll insert the second step using the same action on the toolbar, is to press the call key. Now, this is pretty much all the content that I want in this task, but I still want to add some more semantics. For example, I want to emphasize on the fact that the battery has to be charged. So I'll select the charged word and mark it as bold using this action on the toolbar. Also, I'm pretty sure that the call key here should be an UI control. So again, I'm selecting it, press enter to invoke the content completion window, and select the UI control element to wrap that word into an UI control. Now, in case you are not certain about the semantics of an element, if you are not certain if you are using it correctly, you should present the content completion window by pressing F2. And in this window, you'll see a description and two very useful links. One is a link to the DITA specs, where you can read some more about that element, maybe see some examples. And the other link is a link to a style guide. And if you follow the link, you will be directed to the style guide, to a section that describes the use of that element, best practices, what to do and what to not do. And by default, oXygen comes bundled with the DITA style guide written by Tony Self, but you can integrate your own style guide instead. In general, companies have their own style guide, a set of rules for writing their documentation. But these style guides can tend to become quite large, so it's not possible for a writer to learn everything by heart and then start writing and remember everything. Having that in mind, with this style guide integration, oXygen provides the right information at the right time when the user realizes it needs that information. Let's return to our task, and all we have to do now is save it. I'll save it in my tasks directory. Just give it a name and press save. Let's switch to our slides and see what's next. So we're done with the task about how to make a call. The second topic we have to work on is one about how to make a conference call. Let's switch back to oXygen, and I will open this. It's also a DITA task. It's also a procedure. And the first step in this procedure says that you have to call the first participant. And as it happens, we've just written a topic about how to call a participant. So let's make a cross-reference to that topic. To add a cross-reference, we will use the cross-reference action from the toolbar. We will select the topic about making a call. What you are seeing now are all the elements that can be referenced from that topic. Basically, all elements that have an ID. As you select an element, you will see a small preview which will help you understand if you are making the reference to the right place. In our case, we want to make the reference to the entire task. So we'll select the task element and insert a cross-reference. And please notice that you will also see the title of that topic. Another indication that you've referenced the right topic. Let's also add a related link to the same topic. Related links go to the end of the document. We'll go to the same action on the toolbar, but this time we'll select the related link to topic, to the same place, but a different action. The dialog is already initialized, so all we have to do is press insert, and now we have a related link, as you can see from the breadcrumb. Another thing that I want to do in this task, I have an image that depicts what a conference call actually means. So I want to insert an image reference at the beginning of the steps. To insert an image reference, I will use the insert image reference on the toolbar. I will browse for my image. I can also give a title. You can also set various other image properties and insert it. Now, that is one way of inserting image reference. Another would be if your images are available in the project view in oXygen. What you can do is you can drag and drop images to add reference to them. If you have these images open in a file explorer, you can do the same, drag and drop, or copy and paste. And with these, I think this task is complete. I have in it all the information that I want. So let's save it and return to our slides to see what's next. The last topic that I have to work on is one about the important keys and shortcuts on my mobile phone. Let's switch to oXygen again and open this topic. To specify these keys and shortcuts, I will use a table. To insert a table, I will use the Insert Table action on the toolbar. The calls model in DITA is what I want for my table. Let's give it a title. We can also select the number of rows or columns, and we can insert it. Now, if you've realized you don't have enough rows or enough columns, you can add some more by using these actions on the toolbar. So let's put another row and another column. If you want to resize the columns, all you have to do is hover over the divider and drag it to the desired position. If you want a finer degree of control, you can click on the Call Spec button on top of the table, and you will see a lot of phone controls that will edit some table properties, like the width of a table or the alignment. If these are not enough, on the toolbar there is a Table Properties action, and if you click it, you'll see a dedicated dialog in which you can set all sorts of properties on cells or columns or rows. My first oh, and almost forgotten, if you press Control, you will notice that the cursor changes, and if you click on the cells now, you can select multiple cells, and after that you can join them by pressing the Join action on the toolbar, like so, or you can split them, so you can create more complex table layouts. My first column is gonna be the key, then a column for the image, and finally a description. If you want to change a column's place, you can hover on top of it, and again the cursor changes as an indicator that you can click and select the column, and after that you can drag and drop it in a different position. And the same goes for table rows too. So the first key, it's the call key, and again we can use drag and drop to insert an image, and the call key does two things. So let's insert a list from the toolbar again. It makes a call, or it answers a call. Our second key is the lock key. which locks or unlocks the phone. Right, I think I'm done with the important keys table. Now I have to create another table for the shortcuts. But instead of doing it manually like I've done with the keys table, I'll do something else. So I have here in the browser open an HTML document with the phone shortcuts that I need. So I will select it and copy it, go back to oXygen and just paste. I'll switch to full tags for you to get a better understanding of what happened. So the HTML table that I've copied was automatically converted into a DITA calls table, as you can see from these tags. There's a T group element here and entries. And this type of conversions happen automatically whenever you copy text from a browser or a word processor or a spreadsheet editor. Basically, any editor that would put an HTML flavor in the clipboard. And this is an example of what we call the smart editing support in oXygen. Let me show you some more examples of this smart editing and what it means. Well, basically, oXygen will identify actions, the actions that will render the document invalid, and instead of presenting you errors, will give you solutions, automatic solutions. So for example, if you type text here in the body element, because text is not allowed inside directly in the body element, it will be automatically wrapped into a paragraph. Also, if we copy a list item and we try to paste it directly in the paragraph, a list item cannot exist outside a list element. So a list element was automatically created for it. To give you another example, wherever in the document you may be, for example in this table, if I realize I want to insert an author, I can just invoke the content completion window and select the author element, press enter again, and what happened is that the author was inserted at the beginning of the document, and a prologue section was also automatically created because the author element resides inside the prologue. So oXygen automatically created the required structure to speed things up. Yeah, so let's put the author here, Alex. Let's save this topic too, and it's time to return to our slide and for a short reminder of the things that we've seen so far. So we've covered the part about the topic, about the basics of topic editing in oXygen. We've seen how to create cross-references and image references, how to work with tables, and we've introduced this concept of smart editing and what it means for you while writing a DITA document. The next part in our webinar, so now we have our building blocks, we have our topics. It's time to organize them into a map. And this is the structure that I want for my map. So I want a getting started topic head for the important keys and shortcuts, and a basics section for those two tasks about how to make a call and how to make a conference call. Let's switch to oXygen and create this map. To create a map, we'll use the same action, the new action, but this time we will select the map template. Let's hit create. Now there are two ways you can edit a DITA map inside oXygen. You can use either the DITA Maps Manager, which is a view created specially for editing DITA maps, or you could use the same author mode in which we've edited the topics. We will cover both alternatives, but we will begin with the DITA Maps Manager. So this view is the DITA Maps Manager. Let's begin by saving the map, because the map location is important. And let's give it a proper title, and for that we will use the edit properties action. So this is the oXygen smartphone. Okay. Let's append a child in our map. So first we need a topic head. Let's give the navigation title. This one, it's about getting started. And inside this topic head we will drag and drop from the project our topic about the important keys and shortcuts. Now we'll need a topic to create a topic ref to a new topic about the basics of working with our phone. So we'll go again to append child and select new. We'll choose the topic template for this new topic. Let's give it a title, the basics. Please note that the name of the file was automatically generated from the title. Let's browse and make sure it will be saved in the proper place and create it. This is our newly created topic, but I don't want to work on it right now, so I'll close it. Well, actually I'll close all topics. It's no point in concentrating on them anymore. And inside the basics topic ref, I want to add references to the tasks about how to make a call and how to create a conference call. So I'll select them both and insert references to them. All we have to do now is save our map, and the structure is complete. This is the structure that I wanted from my map. Now let's take a look how this map looks in oXygen author mode. To open it, we can use this action on the toolbar. Let's click it. So this is how a DITA map looks like in oXygen's author mode. Now there's not much content because a map doesn't contain that much content. It has a lot of topic references, but you will see these references, and if you click on this chain icon, that topic ref will be open. Another thing you can do in the map is to activate an additional style sheet, an additional CSS, the show topic title CSS. And if you activate it, you'll see for each topic ref the title of that topic, and it's a great way of seeing of having an overview to see if you're referencing the right topics or not in your map. To add new topics, you have the same actions that you've seen in the DITA maps. In the DITA maps manager are available on the toolbar, the create new DITA topic or to insert a topic reference. Right. To edit the properties of existing topic maps, you can activate another additional optional CSS, this edit topic graphs attributes in place. And please notice that a little pen has appeared on the right side of a topic graph, and if you click it, you'll notice quite a few form controls that have appeared, and you can use them to set different attributes for that topic graph. Another thing you can do if you like working in the full tags mode, if you like seeing these tags for each element, you can double click on a tag and the specialized dialog for editing a topic reference will be displayed. And you can set a lot of properties on your reference from it. I think this covers what I wanted to show you. One more thing though. Another thing you can do with a map is you can open it with all the topic refs expanded. So it's this other action on the toolbar, open map in editor with resolved topics. And if you click it, the map will again be opened in the author mode, but this time for each topic reference you will also see its content right here. And although this content is not editable, you'll get a warning when you try to edit. Editing it is just a click away. All you have to do is select the edit reference action and the topic will be opened and you'll be placed in that same context, so you can begin writing right away. And this way of opening a map is also a great way of getting an overview of a general overview on your map. Let's go back to our slides, and I think we've covered this part too. So we've seen the DITA Maps Manager and how to create and edit a map in the DITA Maps Manager, and also how to do the same in oXygen's author mode. It's time to go to the next section in our presentation. The idea here is that a lot of things can go wrong while working on a map. There are a lot of things that could break. For example, resources that have been renamed without updating the references to them, or references to some websites. That website was there when I added that external link, but now it's not, and I have no way of knowing that. And there are two things that can help and prevent this situation. The first one is an action to validate and check for completeness the entire map. And oXygen has such an action. Let's switch to oXygen, and let's assume that I have a new topic, one about how to insert a battery that a colleague of mine wrote it, and I will add this new topic into my map. Let's save the map, and now let's see if my map is still okay, if there are no problems with the map. To do that, I will invoke the validate and check for completeness action on the toolbar. Now, this dialog it's a configuration dialog for this action. There are a lot of checks that you can enable or disable. You can even write your own custom checks. But I personally will go with the default, but please feel free to explore all of them, all of these choices. So let's check. And what a surprise, there are problems in my map now. Let's go over each of these problems and see how we can solve it. So the first error is a duplicate ID. To fix this problem, I will remove the ID, the current ID, using the attributes view, and I will generate a new one using the generate IDs action. Please note that a new ID has been set on this element. The second error is about an image that was renamed without updating the reference to that image. To fix it, I will simply drag and drop the image here. The next error is about a command element that is outside the step. So I'll select it and simply wrap it in a step element. Inside the related links section, again I have a reference to a topic that was renamed without updating the references. So I'll use drag and drop to put on a correct reference and just remove the old one. Let's save the topic and let's check the map again. And this time the map is valid, as you can see from this validation message on the bottom of the editor. Now, that was one way through which you can make sure your map is valid and complete. The second way is by having access to map-aware actions. Like, for example, if you're renaming a topic, all references to that topic should automatically be updated. Let's see how that goes in oXygen. So, for example, let's say I want to rename my topic about how to make a call. I will select the rename resource action and give it a new name, and I'll use the preview feature to show you what will happen. So please note that not only will the topic be renamed, but also all references to it are updated. So for example, in the DITA map, the topic ref is updated, and in the task about how to make a conference call, we also had a cross-reference and a related link to that topic, and both of them will be updated. So let's click rename, and let's check again our map, see if everything is okay. Check, and again validation is successful and there are no broken links in the map. And finally, we've reached the final topic in our presentation, the publishing. oXygen comes bundled with the DITA Open Toolkit with version 1.8 as well as with version 2, and you can activate whichever your project uses. So, and because it comes with the DITA Open Toolkit, you have access to all the outputs provided by the toolkit. And besides that, we also have a couple of oXygen special outputs that were developed as Open Toolkit plugins. And we have the web help, which is either responsive or with feedback, and you can invoke the web help transformation either from oXygen or externally from a process. And we also have a PDF transformation that is based on CSS rules, so not on formatting objects, on XSL formatting objects, like the default PDF transformation from the DITA Open Toolkit. Let's go to oXygen and see how we can publish our map. We'll go on the toolbar and click on the Configure Transformation Scenario button. So oXygen has this concept of a transformation scenario. A scenario is basically a configuration that identifies a particular output, a PDF or a web help. To publish your map into these formats, you can just select them and then press apply. The transformations are in progress, as you can see from this little progress on the bottom. And this is my PDF. And shortly after, I will also see the web help. Now, if you want to publish your map again, you don't have to go to the Configure Transformation Scenario dialog. You can directly, you can just click the Apply Transformation Scenario button, and all those associated scenarios will be applied automatically. But I will go one more time to the Configure Transformation Scenario dialog to show you that the web help transformation is customizable. So you can choose between a great number of built-in templates. My personal favorite is this one with the flowers theme, but unfortunately it won't go too well with our mobile phone DITA maps. So I will just show you how this template would look like on a proper map, a map about growing flowers. So it's quite beautiful, and you can apply these templates on your own DITA maps or create your own templates. Also, if you don't see a scenario for, if you're looking for an output and you don't see a scenario for it, you should click New and choose the DITA Open Toolkit transformation. And you can choose between all the available outputs in the DITA Open Toolkit, and you just click OK, and you will create a new scenario for that output, and then you just click apply, and your DITA map will be published into that output. And with that, I'm afraid we've reached the end of this presentation. I thank you all for attending it. And if you have any questions or feedback or improvement ideas, we are more than happy to hear them. So thank you again, and please ask. George?
Hi, Alex.
Hi, George.
So I'm
Well, that menu icon is one possibility. Let me go to my task. So you can insert a new step either by using this icon on the toolbar, or you can just press enter and the first entry in the content completion window will be the new step entry. So just press enter again and you get a new step.
It looks like my question was not
Understood.
to hear my question.
Oh, so yes. No, I don't hear you, George. So the question was, is the only way to insert a new step by clicking on this action on the toolbar? And my answer was that you can either use this action on the toolbar to insert a new step, or you can press enter, the content completion window will be presented, and the first entry there is the new step. So just press enter again and you'll get a new step.
And I solved also the problem with the microphone, I hope.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. um, are any attributes inserted automatically, or must one always enter them manually? I can respond to this.
Please.
If there is a required attribute, oXygen will insert that automatically. You can also configure oXygen to insert IDs automatically, and maybe Alex, you can show in the DITA menu in your oXygen. So in the DITA menu we have ID options, an entry that says ID options, and here you can specify the class values for which oXygen will automatically generate IDs. This is useful to, if you generate IDs automatically for all tables or all lists or sections, then you will be able to refer to those elements, either to link to them or to reuse some of that content.
And we also have that configuration file. So we have a configuration file in which you can say that whenever an element is inserted, these other attributes should automatically be inserted too. So that might also be helpful.
Thanks, Alex, for adding that. Yes, so that's another way to basically enforce adding an attribute without modifying the DTDs or the schemas that you have. What kind of images can you see visually in oXygen? oXygen supports all the common image formats, JPEG, PNG, GIF, and so on, plus SVG and MATML, which will be presented rendered. And also we use, being a Java application, we use the Java support for images, which is a pluggable support, so it will be very easy to add support for any type of image. At least you can have this pluggable support, use an external converter that converts that image to a known format automatically, and then that will be visible. So I guess we support a lot of images, and adding an unsupported format is should not be a big issue. Do the toolbar action knows what kind of table to insert based on where it's being inserted? For example, a trace table within a step versus a simple table in a concept task type. And it was also a similar question, I think, like in a reference topic, for instance, you can create a a properties table and so on? And the answer is yes. The actions in oXygen are defined depending on the context to perform differently depending on the context. So and the table operation is defined like that, and it will insert or will propose inserting different types of tables depending on the current context. There was an early question about how we can preview the content that was entered into the topic, and that was presented by Alex later on in the publishing part of the webinar. Another question was what happens when you drag and drop images into the topic? Is that a link to the image that is created? Or it is inserted a copy of that image. And when you drag and drop an image, we'll just link to that image. So you will just have a reference to the image that already exists. If you copy the content of an image, for instance, from an image editor, and you paste that into oXygen, then a save dialog will appear asking you to select a file name for that image, and after you save that image, oXygen will insert a reference to the newly created image. Does oXygen import from Microsoft Word? Our colleague Radu just wrote a blog post yesterday. Maybe Alex, you can show that on our blog.oxygenxml.com in the browser, which covers exactly this topic, how you can get from Word to DITA. And one way is using the smart paste support, so you can just basically copy paste from Word to a DITA topic in oXygen, and you'll get an automatic conversion of that content to DITA. It's always good to explain for people that are new to DITA what a map is. And someone said, you know, that map here refers to a table of contents. Yes, in DITA, basically, a map can be seen as defining the content of a publication, or but it's a lot more than a table of contents. It can contain additional meta information, where you can have like profiling attributes that will specify this topic will be available only for expert audience or for a specific product. If you reuse the same map to generate help or documentation for multiple products, or for if you target multiple audiences. Can we create online help? And the answer from DITA, and the answer is yes, of course. Also the online help that oXygen includes is generated from DITA, and maybe Alex, you can also show that in your share screen. So here's if you go to the oXygen XML website, and under the resources, you have the documentation entry, and if you click on that, you will get to a page where you can click and get the web help output. Also, if you press F1 in oXygen contextual help, it will get you to a topic that is relevant to your current context directly into this online help. Could Alex show us what you see to what you get PDF output? Basically, that that requires, so we have that's a DITA Open Toolkit that we provide under Apache license on GitHub, but that requires XML plus CSS engine, an engine that converts from XML plus CSS to PDF, like Antenna House or Prince XML. And I think Alex does not have that ready set up,
Yes,
but we can follow up maybe after the webinar with the link.
Well, we have a webinar dedicated to publishing, and we intend to present in it this output too. So please register to that webinar. Publishing in DITA.
Are the publishing step being described, summarized in a document? I like to be able to get a quick end-to-end overview of the key points. I think we may have some short video demonstrations. If you go to our videos section on the website, there may be, so there we have, together with the recorded webinars, we have also a number of short videos presenting different functionality of oXygen, and here maybe you can filter on transformation or DITA, and I think we may have some videos here that describe the steps to transform data publishing or something like that. It should be. Hopefully, we can try to follow up. And I think this may be also described in the documentation, in the user guide. Does the web help that Alex presented support HTML5? Yes, that is actually HTML5 based. Is there a way to add a hyperlink from any page to the table of contents in a PDF? And the answer is yes, but that requires creating a PDF customization plugin for the Data Open Toolkit to add that hyperlink. We are thinking about ways to improve the customizations for PDF in next versions of oXygen to be able to rather set a parameter than create this customization layer to do different things for PDF. Do you recommend creating the topics first and then organizing them into data maps? Well, that basically depends on your case, I guess. Sometimes it makes sense to have the topic, especially if someone will contribute that content. So someone from outside the authoring tool may contribute an initial content from that. Otherwise, it may make sense to define the map first, like you define the overall organization, like define the table of contents, define what you want to contain, and then instantiate the topics. So I guess you need to use it and decide when it's it's better to have first the topics and then add them to the map, or vice versa. So it was a question about the yellow some yellow parts of oXygen, and I think there's a clarification here that it refers to the critical dates area. So how the question was how that is created or something like that. So how that I guess it refers to the fact that you have a form control, that date picker, to be able to edit that date in for the
probably.
So basically, it's part from the CSS. So everything that you see on the user interface is controlled through the CSS that oXygen uses to render the document. and in the CSS, in the content property of the CSS, you can, Alex, maybe you can say use the right click and inspect styles to get to the actual rules for where that is defined.
Sure. So inspect styles.
So you can use the contextual inspect styles menu, and then you will see all the CSS rules that match that specific element. If you have, so it's on the before, I guess.
Yes, I'm on the before. So this is the label that is put before the created element. Is this one from here? It just says created, and you can see in which CSS it was added. We can see why it is bold, because there's a rule here that says font weight is bold, and it comes from this other CSS. And we also see where the colors comes from, because the prologue uses this color inside colors CSS, and you can click and go to that CSS and maybe change it to another color.
And another question is, I've heard that there is some benefit to creating a relationship table instead of direct relating links. Do you agree? Yes, so this also depends on how you organize your data map, but a relationship table allows you to define the relationship between topics at the map level, and that's important because sometimes if you put the link within a topic, then you create a dependency between that topic and the related topics. And if you use the same topics in a different map, then if the topic has that link, then you will need also the topic that you know, all the topics that are linked together, you need to take them together, otherwise you'll have a broken link basically. So while if you put this relation at the map level, then if you reuse a topic in a different context in a different map, that topic will make sense standalone and may create a relationship table, a relationship link to a different topic from that map, and you do not have to take all the topics that are in a relation, right? Does every element or topic get an ID created automatically? Not every element. Topics are required to have IDs, but elements in data usually are not required to have IDs. And oXygen will generate IDs only for the topics that match this ID options configuration that Alex shows now on the screen. So you can control basically for which elements you will have an ID generated automatically. Can I use data maps for publishing databases? I'm afraid I do not understand the question exactly. What do you mean exactly? So if you can come back with the question and clarify, that may help. Does oXygen easily convert non-DITA XML into DITA? Well, oXygen includes a number of predefined transformations, and one of them is dogbook to DITA, for example. And oXygen also allows you to set up different transformations based on XSLT scripts, XQuery scripts, XProc pipelines, ANT scripts, and so on. So as long as you can define these conversions in terms of such scripts, XSLT, XQuery, ANT, XProc, and so on, you can define a transformation scenario that will allow you to click on a button and trigger that conversion. Can you show how the linking is down? You mean when you have a broken link, or I guess that's what happens when you have a broken link, or?
Well, I think I presented when I validated and checked for completeness, and I got those errors. So, but
So this clarification how the linking is done over over an image and with the content.
think it's also about the reference to images, that it's just a reference, the image is not copied.
Will you do a webinar recording advanced options like conditional text? The following webinar, the next DITA related webinar, will cover exactly this reuse functionality, including using keys, so conkeyref, content references, profiling, conditional text, that is conditional text, and so on. If you want to make a table of content appear on your final PDF, you need to use a bookmap, or you can do that another way. A table of contents will be generated also from a normal map. You don't necessarily require a bookmap. I think a bookmap has some specific elements for books, like the cover page, allowing you to control the cover page or some other book structures. But for a table of contents, that will be usually generated from any map. I mean, the default transformation will generate that from any map. Can I write conditional text in DITA? Yes, DITA has built-in support for conditional text, and the following webinar that Alex presents, can you show the webinars again, Alex?
Sure.
Will focus on DITA reuse functionality, where conditional text is one of the topics. Someone requests us to do a webinar on DITA itself, so basic concepts for DITA, which may be an interesting idea, and we can add this to the series of the DITA webinars. So just an introduction to DITA, basic DITA concepts. Does oXygen support DITA training and learning models? Was your training created with this? oXygen supports all the DITA default specializations, including learning and training. Our user guide and other material does not use the training, learning and training, but oXygen is used to create, for instance, the learning DITA, the content that is available on learningdita.com, which is developed by Scriptorium Publishing. Maybe you can show the learningdita.com. It contains, and that probably answers also the question about being having an entry-level introduction to DITA, because these are free training classes. oXygen is one of the sponsors of the Learning DITA initiative. So there are free DITA training classes, and you also have the source of the classes available on GitHub. So you should see down, I think, on the page there's a link to the GitHub repository, or somewhere on this page it's a link to the GitHub repository, where you can find all the source code, which is DITA learning and training, and you can try that also with oXygen if you want an example. the CSS affects only what you see in the editor. Does it also affect the publication? The CSS can affect also the publication, depends on the plugin that is used, and that DITA PDF, what you see, what you get plugin that was referred in the earlier question, basically will use CSS to control the PDF output. How can we integrate the help generated with the developer's UI application? As I mentioned, also the oXygen web help is context-sensitive web help, and I think we updated the web help transformation to generate also a mapping file between topic IDs and links to those topics, and then you can use in your application those IDs when you invoke, like if you have in your application open help with an ID as a parameter, then if you are in the project panel in oXygen and you press F1, we say open help with the ID for the project topic, for the topic that describes the project panel, and then our application looks into that mapping file that is generated automatically and finds the actual HTML file that needs to be opened for that ID, right? So this is one way. This is how we do the context sensitive help. And oXygen, as I said, generates that mapping file, so you only need to talk to your developers to use that basically to find from the ID the actual topic to be open. Can we generate context-sensitive help? Yes, you can try it in oXygen. Press F1 somewhere, and it will get you to the corresponding topic in our online help or offline help if you disable the offline if you disable the support, the option that oXygen by default will use the online help and not the offline one. Please show the topic map IDs. Where can we generate? I think we will make a note to maybe have a blog post about this, or maybe you can note this and cover this in the publishing webinar. Context sensitive, how you can get obtain
Sure.
context sensitive web help, and I think we can close for today. We are 20 minutes after the hour. So thank you again for asking us so many questions. We are very happy to see that we spent half an hour to ask questions. That means our webinar was received with interest. So thank you again, and do not forget to register for our next webinars. We hope they will be as interesting as this. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, George. Thank you all for attending again. Be seeing you at our next webinars.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.